Under the output here, it looks like the outputs in this configuration state, this looks like VTEC, the way they have this configured here. So we have outputs, parameters, and then it's going to be RPM based. If we actually try this output, inverting it, probably can't hear that. I hear the VTEC solenoid click in the engine bay. So we know that this is wired, the VTEC's wired to our H-bridge 1, which is sending a 12 volt out to that solenoid to activate it, so we can see that that should be working right. There's actually a better way to enable VTEC. Gives us more programming flexibility. I'm not going to go ahead, since we know H-bridge 1 is where they've wired it to, I'm going to go ahead and get it off of this area right here. We'll go to none, and we'll set it up in a different area. When we get into the cam, we'll talk about that here. So there's actual VTEC programming window. It gives us more programming flexibility rather than just basing on RPM. We can do an RPM, manifold pressure, and throttle position, gives us a better control range. VSS, we're going to assume that the VSS sensor here is functional. I had some issues with it with K-Pro, but if we look here, the sensor isn't going to be a VR. It's actually going to be a Hall, and we want to go to the pull up and turn that pull up to, let's say, an 820 or even a 1K would work. Well, we're going to go filter it as a low filter on the input. Falling edge should be, the trigger edge should be falling, and the frequency divider will leave it divided by 1. We can't go in and check any of the gear ratios or the ratio tolerance or speed ratio until we actually start to drive it and figure out what the values are going to be. So we'll have to wait till we can look at that later. But for right now, we need to change some of this configuration settings. Under the VE table, we're not going to go and do anything here. We're going to come back in the next tutorial and edit a bunch of things, including the VE table and the injection timing and the lambda table and the Wago feedback. So we're going to keep all that off for right now. Under Spark, we're not going to touch anything in here. Again, we're going to be talking about that in the next tutorial. Under Cam here, if we take a look, this is where we have our VVT VTEC control. So this is the programming parameters for VTEC function. Now they're saying variable valve timing. They're not referring to the actual VCT variable cam movement on a K-series engine. This is the high-low function with that cam going into VTEC or non-VTEC. So here the output, we're going to set that to the H-bridge 1 since we know that's where it configured, and we can test it again here. I can hear it click, so we know that's functional. I'm going to set the minimum RPM here to 9,000 and the maximum here to 9,200. Now, why am I doing this? I want to make sure that I tune low cam or non-VTEC first, then we'll worry about high cam doing the actual VTEC tuning. So we're going to split this up into two different segments or two different ways to go about working with this, treating it as low and high cam. Again, the rest of these parameters we're just going to leave alone because we're essentially bypassing it, raising our RPM to this value of 9,000. So that looks good. The rest of the parameters, yeah, we'll leave alone, so we'll keep moving on here. Now, the variable cam, it's always confusing me here with the EMU Black. The VVT cam...
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.